What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream on this Friday, people. I'm joined by a good friend of mine, football's 12th man, Dan Potts in the building.
Big up, bro. Thanks for having me, man. Always a pleasure, man. It's been hard to do this regularly with me and you, but we're going to try and do it weekly, people. I'm going to try and do as best we can. Got an international break coming up already, so I don't know how well we'll be able to do that, but we will try. And it's always a pleasure coming on, man. Big up to you.
Yeah, big up, man. Apologies, people, that we're late. It's my fault. Tech issues. My internet is playing up again. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, hopefully we get through it okay. And listen, it's a positive show. You know what I mean? People have a go at us, oh, this, that, the other. But I always say we're a reflection of the team and the club and what they're doing. And we've had a pretty good week. I mean, we'll break down things individually, but just collectively. Liverpool losing to Palace, Eddie and Nketiah last minute winner. We then go to Newcastle, come back and win 2-1. Pretty straightforward win against Olympiacos, although we complicated it a little bit. And then obviously we've got West Ham, Liverpool have got Chelsea this weekend. Overall, how have you viewed the week and how are you feeling overall about Arsenal's start?
Do you know what, Curtis? It has actually been positive. Like, there's definitely been some frustrations, but wherever you look at a team in Europe or in England, if you've got, let's say, I don't know, 6 games, there's definitely going to be positives and negatives for every single one of those games, right? But as a total, I think we've had a hard start. And to look now and say that we've won both of our Champions League games and we've gone and got 13 out of 18 in the Premier League start and probably should have got more against Manchester City, definitely. I think we could have done a hell of a lot worse. You know, I heard people saying that Arsenal will be lucky to get 5, 7, 8 points out of the first 6. And I suppose the biggest positive of that is been the squad depth, mate, because we have had problems. And I think if we was to look at the injuries we had of last year, I think we'd be very, very surprised how relaxed we've been if we had those injuries last year. Saliba missing, Odegaard missing, Saka, Havertz, Jesus, Madueke, Nketiah. They're all have been or are still on the injury list. And that would have affected us last season with the squad we had. The squad we've got now, we've now seen some players that have come in and provided competition. And I think it's been clear that the drop-off is no longer huge. It's a drop-off that's smaller. So I think that's been pretty evident, if I'm honest with you. And I think the substitutes bench at Anfield really surprised me in comparison to Liverpool's, because we had a couple of players out and it was clearly stronger than what Liverpool have got. And I would agree that I think everyone agrees now that Arsenal got the best squad, but perhaps not the best 11. And I think that was quite evident against City and Liverpool. They've got a Haaland, needs half a chance, he scores. They've got players of absolute quality that can score out of any free kick that Liverpool have got. So I think there's the reasons that we've dropped points. But I do think and wish we would have been a bit braver against those two teams. But across the 6 games, if you're actually going to say, you know, how many points would you take? I said I'd take between 12 and 15. I wanted 18, but I'd take 12 to 15 with the circumstances of going away to Old Trafford, Anfield, playing Manchester City at home, St. James's Park, tough place to go. But saying that, we should be doing that. You know, if we want to go and win this league, we should be getting those points. So I think we're in a good place at the moment. And if Arteta can keep this handbrake off, which we've seen in glimpses against Newcastle and Olympiacos in glimpses, if we can start to do that over a 60-minute period, then I think that we're in a good position, man. But there's still a long way to go and a lot can change. You're right about Liverpool. You know, we had to win that weekend because Liverpool dropped points. I wasn't really looking at Chelsea, United or Spurs, but it's always good when they drop points as well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But Liverpool dropping points was massive, bro. So, yeah, it was a big weekend for Arsenal and a great Champions League win as well. So, yeah, we move.
It's something you said there, and I saw a video on it, and I was thinking about it myself. Like, have we got the best squad in the league? I've heard a lot of people saying that. And I was sort of having a look at parts of the team. And, you know, you look at Liverpool or Alisson and that Georgie guy, I forget his surname, but they paid about 30 million for him. I think he's starting tomorrow. Do you think do you genuinely, do you think we've got Have we got the best squad in the league? Because I still look at parts of Liverpool's squad and go, Ekatike and Isak. They've got McAllister, Gravenberch, Jones, Verts, Endo. I suppose that's their midfield, really. Defense, I would say definitely we've got the best squad depth. Do you think we have got the best squad in the league overall?
Yeah, I think we have. And what comes with that is more pressure to deliver,
Yeah,
because people can say, we've got the best squad, we've got the best squad. And the same line, you can't then go, well, we didn't win because we
yeah,
have got the best squad and we should be able to compete on all four fronts and the team's good enough to win a trophy. What trophy that is, I'll let you guys decide which one you want. But I'm taking a trophy this season as a bare minimum, because for me, that side is too good not to. And if we pick Liverpool and Manchester City as the two that we believe are going to be in this title race this season, I think Chelsea, probably people believe that the squad's already let them down in terms of their goalkeeper and defence. So we've definitely got a better squad than them. I think we've got a better squad than Manchester City. We might not have a Haaland, but we've definitely got a squad that's better than theirs. And we might not
yeah,
have an Isak and a Salah, but we've definitely got better backups to Liverpool. And I think that was clear on the bench when we played them.
yeah,
Because, when you look in every single position now, we have a backup that's better than theirs. Like Connor Bradley, I'd rather have Ben White. Yeah, Andrew
yeah,
Robertson has been unbelievable. Robertson's been, but I would rather have Lewis Skelly because he's the up and coming one that looks like he could be brilliant. Centre backs are just, we're stacked, bro. They're not. They're not stacked. They got that Leone who's now injured. We've got
yeah,
Mosquera. We've got Nkapie, Saliba, and Gabriel. They've got Joe
mm,
Gomez as their third choice now, and they're struggling if he gets injured and he's injury prone. You move into
yeah,
midfield. We've got Norgard, Zubamendi, and Rice, and they've got Endo and Gravenberch. And these players are quality. All of them are great, by the way. But I just think if you compare and you stack up who your backup is to who our backup is, I truly think we're in the best place. Who's their backup for Salah? We've got Saka and Madueke. They've got
yeah.
Salah and Chiesa.
Maybe
Is it?
Chiesa, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, he's a good player, but I don't think that he is. I'd rather have Madueke as backup, and then they've got Cody Gakpo, who's a good player. Ekatike, Isak, but we've got Martinelli, Trossard, Havertz, Jesus, Gyokeres. So I truly
Mm,
feel like we're much stronger than them squad-wise. But I think if
yeah,
we was to do a combined 11 with Liverpool, they'd probably get maybe one or two more players than we would in a combined 11. You'd probably say
mm,
that they get 6 or 7 and we get 4 or 5. Do you know what I mean? So I think that would be a real kind of contest. And I think that does show where we've come. But for people saying, have we got the strongest squad? We have, but that ain't a trophy. Like, we've got to do something with it. Do you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
yeah.
That's where I'm at.
People are happy in the comments. They're saying positivity from us both. Listen, yeah, we're in a good mood. Like I
You
say,
can't be when
we're
we
a
win, man. You can't be when we win, bro.
yeah, man. We're a reflection of the club. When they do things well, they'll be praised. We'll be smiling. We'll be praising. So, yeah, man. But big up to everyone locked in. Over 1,000 of you already. Make sure you hit the like button. Let's get 1,000 likes. Subscribe to Potsy as well. Big him up. He's gone past 50K on his channel, flying through the numbers. And yeah, we'll be trying to put out regular content as well, people, on both channels. Just before we went live, I never put this in the title because I didn't see it until after I'd set the stream up. Sammy Mockbell's put out this news that Arsenal are in talks with Jurrien Timber about a new contract. His contract goes to 2028, so he's got, 2.5 years pretty much left on it. And there's rumors he's going to sign a new 5-year deal. I mean, listen, I think anybody that watches this channel knows that I wax lyrical about this guy all the time. I think he's the best right back in the Prem. I would say with Hakimi, I think he's probably top 2 right backs in world football. I'll go as far as that. I mean, what do you think about him? How good is he? How good is this? I mean, Berta is. I saw a podcast, a little clip the other day with Paul Merson and Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes. And they said that this is the best Arsenal have been run off the pitch in about 15 years, from the contracts, the money that we're making, the players that we're signing. How big a deal is this on top of everything what we've been doing with Saliba and co lately?
Well, let me break it down into two. To answer the question that Nicky Butt, Paul Merson, and Paul Scholes were chatting about, I think it's the best we've been run since David Dean was here. I'll go as
Yeah,
far as that. I think it's been a breath of fresh air. Andrea Berta was who you and I wanted. And I said to Robbie when he was appointed, this is going to be the best appointment in the Kroenke reign. And somebody clipped it up and said, wow, that's a massive statement. But so far, it's looking like a statement that hasn't really made me allowed to get egg in my face, because he's really, really proved me right. He's been phenomenal, mate. Absolutely phenomenal, Andrea Berta. And what I've loved so much, Curtis, is that the transfer window stopped and everyone's quiet now. Andrea Berta isn't. We're talking about new contracts. We're talking about Saliba signing, rumours of Saka, now the rumour of Timber. We're talking about player links again. Saw us linked with Julian Alvarez yesterday. And I saw us linked with the Seville defensive midfielder and the young Olympiacos central midfielder who's 18 that's come out of their academy, the Jack Wilshere of their academy. So we're still looking. We're not just stopping. We're looking at how we can do it next. There's rumours of a left winger. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking Andrea Berta's not having a barbecue like Edu, and he's not on a jet ski. This he's cracking on. And it proves how bad Edu was, really, when people were lapping him up saying how great he was. I think it's proved that he might have done an okay job. This guy's done an elite job already, in my opinion. As for this guy who we're looking at right now, best player at Arsenal in the last 12 months for me, easily. Most consistent, defensively brilliant as his position goes. You're probably looking at Hakimi, Trent, Koundé, Timber. I'm probably taking Timber out of a lot of them, if I'm honest, because Timber's a better defender than Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think Timber probably is better defensively and offensively and just as a footballer than Koundé. That means there's only really Hakimi that comes close to him. So I'm looking at this guy thinking, you're a machine, you're a beast, you're a monster, and you've had an ACL. What the hell would he have been like if he didn't have an ACL? Like, this guy is a weapon, mate. And I would say give him what he wants. The guy's on 90K a week, I think. Like, that's nowhere
90K.
near enough. Nowhere near enough, man. He needs to be at least on 150 plus if he even wants to think about, getting fair wages. If Martinelli's on 180 and Zinchenko is on 150, might even have to put him on 180. I don't care. Put him on what he wants, man. The guy's got to stay. It's brilliant that we're talking to him. It's brilliant that he sounds like he wants to stay. And he's probably turning into one of my favourite players at Arsenal. I love players who are reliable. I love players who I have confidence in and reassurance in. And there's never a battle with Timber that I go, oh, God, go on, go. I just relax. I'm like, he's going to come out with a ball. And he does. I thought he was excellent against Newcastle. And if I'm honest with you, I'm a fan of Ben White. I really am. But I like him as a right back and as a backup. But you could see the other night, Ben White was okay. Didn't have his best game. But I'm crying out for Timber because he's just better. Like, Ben White might be better at overlapping, but I don't care about my right back overlapping. I want my right back to do everything that Timber's doing. I think he's phenomenal, mate. Absolutely phenomenal. So this is great news, bro.
I mean, somebody made an interesting point there. Imagine he'd have been fit 23, 24, defensively we got done at the end of the season. Yeah, man, like Ben White actually is a very good right back. And I think the fact that I always thought these two would have a real battle for that place, it's become not a battle. It's like, and Ben White needs to get fit. He was rusty the other night. I've seen people criticizing him, but he needs game time. It's not a problem. But this guy's just phenomenal. 24 years of age. He's not even a natural fullback. He was a centre back when he was at Ajax. So the fact he's just come over here to the Prem and just gone in at fullback and been that good is just, I think he's unbelievably good. And a good friend of mine works at Forest, and they're like, they can't believe what's happening over there. Like, they were Europa League, flying high, FA Cup quarterfinal. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, Edu's turned up. He signed players that Nuno never wanted. So he's fell out with Edu and ended up quitting. He basically, done that press conference to get himself the sack. Ange's come in, and look what Ange's broken a record that's been there 100 years. Man hasn't won a game in his first 7. They're on the verge
of World War, bro. Since the World War, he's now broken
the war, bro. You know what I mean? I seen Ange at the end of the game with his hands on his head. Like I said, this guy is finished. You know what I mean?
When that third goal went in, I watched the game, because obviously I'm close to Wolfie, and I was like laughing because Wolfie's a big troll, bless him. And I've turned it on, it went 3-1, and Ange's doing that. And I'm like, what do you expect? They were 3 on like 2 or whatever. He's got such a That's who we are, mate. Well, it don't work. Well, it's who
That's who
we
we
are,
are,
mate.
mate.
We might have to change it, bro. Because you're going to take them relegated. Like they're going to get relegated if they keep this guy. It's crazy.
It's bad, man. It's bad. I don't know. He made a bad decision there, letting him go and bringing in Ange, man. He hasn't done the business at all, man. But yeah, Timber is great news. Just quickly, I wanted to go over the England squad because I don't know if you've seen that Thomas Tuchel has made some comments regarding Lewis Skelly, saying that basically Skelly needs to be playing regular football if he's got a chance of going to the World Cup. I thought he played really well the other night, actually, Skelly. Obviously, Saka, Lewis Skelly, Rice, Eze, no Madueke through injury. What do you make of his comments about Lewis Skelly, and who do you actually favour in that left-back position for Arsenal at the moment?
I totally understand where Thomas Tuchel's coming from. There's no Ben White again, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I just don't think he's bothered, though, do you, Ben White? It just don't
No,
seem
no.
to bother and phase him, which I find amazing, really. However, Lewis Skelly, I totally get it because right now I think he starts for England, but not for Arsenal. Because I genuinely do believe he's the best left back that England have got. He's better than Luke Shaw. I think he's just ahead of Lewis Hall, but only just because Lewis Hall's very good. He's definitely ahead of Tariq Mitchell and some of the other guys that have been playing at left back previously. So he needs to play. And I've got to be honest with you, this is going to sound really mad when I'm talking about certain things here because I think he should play for England. Right now, I'm not sure he gets in at left back at Arsenal because how good Calafiori's been. I
Yeah,
also believe that he's probably not a natural left back as well, and think that he
yeah,
probably could be used in midfield as more of a box to box player with athleticism. So now I'm
yeah.
confusing myself nationally and club. Does that make sense? So I'm like, on
No,
the
I
one
get
hand,
you. I get you.
I want him to play because I think he's great, and maybe I am being a little bit harsh on Calafiori, but I do prefer Lewis Skelly personally.
So do
I
I.
think Calafiori has done very well in the first few games at Arsenal, but I'm still not sure that I like what I see naturally as a left back. I think he's more of a centre half or maybe even further forward with some of his attributes. However, I think Lewis Skelly, right now, it's fair for Mikel Arteta to say that, Calafiori's got the place right now. You've got to fight to get back in. I, like you, thought he was probably second to Odegaard in best player of the night the other night against
Yeah,
Olympiacos. Other than
yeah,
Odegaard, I thought Lewis Skelly was our best player. I thought he was excellent, in fact.
yeah,
And with Calafiori, like some players you just can't take to, Curtis. I don't know. Some players, I don't know if this is harsh, but when you look at a player and you think, I really want to love you, but there's something about me that's not allowing me to. I'm a bit
yeah,
like that with Calafiori at the moment, and I can't really tell you what it is. I listen to some people and they like, he's the most wonderful player to watch. And I think, I've not seen that at Arsenal. I get a little bit of anxiety sometimes when people's excellence is my anxiety. So when he's
mm,
on the ball and he's doing this with his locks and all that, and he's looking wonderful, I kind of get anxiety because I'm thinking, where are you going, son?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
positionally, I get worried about him, bruv. I don't know how you feel, but I think if I was to pick my best now, I think I probably would pick Lewis Skelly. However, it probably would be a little bit out of order on Calafiori's form because he has been better. And
yeah.
I don't know, I'm kind of like this really.
I mean, do you know what, bro? Like, we obviously on the tour, we was getting a lot of insight, and the general consensus was that I don't know how to say it, but they were kind of saying that maybe Lewis Skelly's got a little bit complacent. They didn't think he was
Mm,
sort of at it the way he was earlier in the season. He'd been caught out a little bit at the end of the season, sent off against West Ham. He's a very laid back character and laid back on the ball. He's not a natural defender, where Calafiori is a natural centre back who's obviously been moved to left back. And Calafiori cost 40 million, so there was always going to be pressure
mm,
for Calafiori to get in this team at some stage. I'm like you, I'm not a big fan of Calafiori, right? But I do have to give him credit for what he's done at the
same.
start of this season. Like he's done well. I think the reason that we probably haven't taken to him is because if we're being totally honest, bro, if you're playing against Arsenal, he's the player you're going to target out of our back four. He's the
Yes.
one that you're going to say, like West Ham are playing us this weekend. I'm pretty sure they'll be sitting there going, Jared Bowen, see if you can expose Calafiori. It's not going
Yeah.
to be Timber. It's not going to be Gabriel. It's not going to be Saliba. And he plays a different role at left back as well. Like Skelly's almost being asked to play as a midfielder when he's at left back, where Calafiori just seems to have free roam. He's up left wings. He's on the right sometimes. I wonder if Nkapia ends up being our left back at some stage in the future, because why would he leave Bayer Leverkusen as a starting centre back to come to Arsenal and just be a backup player? Like, there must have been some sort of, listen, you're going to play left back for us when you get it, because he's played left back a lot for Leverkusen and he's very quick as well. So, I just wonder how Arteta's going to manage that. And listen, some people say we're being biased with Skelly and blah, blah, blah. I just love how good Skelly is on the ball. He's very comfortable, plays forward passes, but he even is a little bit shaky defensively as well. So, I mean, I've heard you speak about it and I've spoken about it a few times. I still think the left-hand side of Arsenal's team needs tweaking it, whether that's new players, because I don't think Rice left 8 is great. I don't think Calafiori or Skelly are amazing at left back, and I don't think Martinelli or Trossard are good enough on the left either. So that whole left-hand side could maybe do with a rethink going into next season. But yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. But do you think Nkapia ends up playing at left back, or do you think he's more cover as well?
I'm going to be brutally honest. I have absolutely zero idea, Curtis. And I'll tell you why. I don't watch enough of Nkapia. I haven't seen enough of him. I've seen as much of Nkapia as I had Mosquera. And people can tell me Mosquera is the beast that's come out of Valencia, and Nkapia was outstanding in the treble season under Xabi Alonso. But until I see them in Arsenal shirts, I can't really make judgment. I've seen him for 6 minutes against Bilbao. And that 6 minutes was basically equaled Tomiyasu's whole season last season. So he's played as many minutes as Tomiyasu did last season. But I've got to be real, brother. I don't know much about Nkapia. From my understanding and the fan base's understanding, all I can go is by fans that do watch him. They think, as a collect, that he's better than Calafiori and Lewis Skelly at left back. Now, I think he played left centre back more than left back, but I think he was a bit of a mix, a bit like Calafiori, I suppose. So I do think that we've got somebody who's fairly sort of comfortable in that position. My worry, and I'll say this, and this goes on the back of your point about our left-hand side. Everybody knows we need an out-and-out left winger. It was the only position we didn't really fill in the summer. Martinelli and Trossard have stayed, which is calm. They're doing their job at the moment, but we do need a left winger. I still feel like the other two positions in the left can be looked at as well. Not for the first team necessarily. I think Rice is there, but I think we need somebody who's more box-to-box in that role, or more attack-minded that can actually provide us with goals. And if that's Eze, that's great. Maybe a Morgan Rogers. I know he's not doing well at Villa at the moment, but somebody like that who can come into that role as like an attacking 8 or advanced 8 would be good. Or you play Lewis Skelly there and go and buy a proper out-and-out left-back. Like, the left-back I love is Nuno Mendes. He scored again the other night.
Of course,
I'm a big fan of him. I know we're probably not going to get him. That might be unrealistic, but let's be real, man. Like, it's tough to think of many left backs right now that are absolutely on fire, but he's certainly one that I look at that is. And people have said to me, how can Arsenal strengthen this so strong? We can always strengthen, mate. We could have still strengthened the invincible side. Do you know what I mean? So when you look at it, what can we do? Well, we could probably get somebody who's better than Havertz and Jesus as backup striker. We could probably get a proper out-and-out left winger. And we could probably get a proper left back instead of playing centre backs there or midfielders there. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I see us to upgrade. And it's interesting what you say about Calafiori, because I'm glad you said that, because there is definitely a lot of my opinions that I've self-doubted in him this season. Like, why was I so upset? The number one reason last season was he's never fit. That what annoyed me the most, was I couldn't see this guy because he could play a handful of games and get injured. The second thing was his positioning. And I couldn't be hypocritical, brother, and say, Zinchenko, he's all right. I know he can't defend, but he's all right. His positioning's crap, but he's all right. I can't do that, because I was like, Zinchenko can't play left back. And I was seeing similarities positionally to Zinchenko. I mean, he was levels defensively better than Zinchenko. However, like he was going for cups of tea at the corner flag, and I'm thinking, where's he gone? Like I can't
Yeah.
get this guy's positioning. And he reminds me of you know, when like you get those kids at the beach who are like absolute nutters and they have to be on a lead because they're like running around everywhere, little toddlers. That's what he reminds me of, Calafiori. You're like, whoa, where are you going now? Come back, come back. It's like that for me with him, watching him. And I zoned in on him a few times last season thinking, what have we got here? This guy is an absolute headless chicken. And this season, he's disciplined himself a lot more. And I think he's actually been one of our performers this year so far.
Yeah.
But I can't sit there and lie to you and say that I haven't forgotten how good Luis Skelly was last season for us. To do what he was doing at PSG, Real Madrid, all the games he played in the Premier League at 18, I can't get over that. It was giving me Ashley Cole vibes in some games. That's how good he was, man. So, yeah, man, we'll see what we do in that position. But Nkapie could be the guy. We could be talking about which one, and it could be Nkapie. You never know.
Could be none of them. Yeah. I mean, people have to remember, you know, Real Madrid were being linked with Luis Skelly last season after them performances against them. Like, he was looking like he was going to be our left back. But listen, I don't think it's easy to play left back at Arsenal because you're not used as a conventional left back. You have to you're almost doing two jobs there. So it's very difficult compared to maybe playing at right back. I'm just looking ahead to this weekend. I put it in the title, these two. I said both of them have to play this weekend. However that looks. Every time the team comes out, I sit there, Dan, and I go, I hope Eze's in the team. And I think with all the hype of when we signed him and let it all work out and things like that, you know, why is it a battle to try and get Eze in the team? Surely he either plays in the 10, if Odegaard, or attacking midfield, however you want to call it. If Odegaard's in that role, just move Eze to the left. I don't want to see Trossard starting. Maybe Martinelli's, he has had a decent little run, but Eze to me was a signing that anytime the team sheet comes out, he should be on that list. It's just where you play him. Where it feels like a battle to get him in the team at the moment. Like, do you expect him to play this weekend? I mean, how do we use him? He hasn't really started that many games since joining. I personally would like to see Rice as a lone six with Odegaard and Eze in attacking midfield, especially against a Nuno West Ham team that I think will sit in and defend. Or do you think it might be Odegaard attacking midfield with Eze on the left? Or what do you think is going to happen this weekend?
I think we've got two midfield trios. And when we play Rice, Zubimendi and Odegaard, it will be because we're fearing the opposition a little bit. They're a good side. Respect them. Don't go gung-ho. Let's understand they're a good side. Your Newcastle's away, your Man City's away, your Anfield's, your Liverpool, Man United's at home. Well, not so much Man United anymore, but you get my point. I think that's fair. That's fair. I don't mind playing that midfield. When you've got West Ham, Wolves, Brentford, Burnley, Sunderland at home, I want to see Rice in the 6, Eze and Odegaard as the 8s. That's what I want to see. And I agree with you that should be the midfield tomorrow. Now, I've also got to add something, and this might not be a popular opinion, but I'll say it anyway because that's what I'm like. I've not been wowed by Zubimendi yet. I haven't. No. I think he's been good. I think he's been comfortable, and I think he's settling in quite nicely. But I don't look at this signing yet, brother, and I don't know if you agree with this, and go, my God, I thought Partey was good. This guy's levels. I haven't done that yet. Not with Zubimendi, I haven't, right? I'd still believe that Rice is a 6, and I think he's the better player out of the two. So that's why I would say Rice, Eze and Odegaard for this game. And I've got nothing wrong with bringing Zubimendi on. I've got nothing wrong if you want to bring on somebody else, like an Ethan or a Marino, whatever you want to do. But for me to start, I'd like to see the first time in probably all season, the team come out and me, you, and some of the others go, all right, Mikel, I'm liking that. Rice, Eze and Odegaard with Martinelli, Saka and Gyokeres. Yeah, man, I'm liking this. Let's go for it against West Ham. Let's not be scared. That's what I want to be seeing. Now I've said that, it will probably be Zubimendi, Rice and Odegaard in midfield.
Or Marino.
Or Marino, sorry, or Norgard. But I've got to be honest. I'd be going with Rice, Eze, and Odegaard, and I would actually play Odegaard in the left 8 and Eze
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
right with Saka, because I
yeah,
think Saka and Eze together could be excellent on that right hand side, and I think Odegaard and Martinelli have both kind of had to prove a point in this team of late to say, right, okay, well, you're playing Trossard enemy. You've got Madueke you've just signed. We've got Ethan and Max Dowman coming through. I'm going to have to put myself a shift in here. And Martinelli's got 4 goals and assists in 4 games. You've got Odegaard likewise. He's looking at it thinking, Eze's been signed. Ethan Max coming through. We've got Madueke, Martinelli and Trossard all around the team. I need to step up. I'm the captain. And I think what
yeah,
that's done is it allowed them to step up. So I think Odegaard and Martinelli on that side, Odegaard threading balls diagonally into that run that Martinelli does, for me, could be a hell of a lot better and more impactful than hit Odegaard on the right-hand side. But I don't think he'll do that, because I think Odegaard and Saka are the 2 that he likes out there. But doesn't mean Eze can't play in that left 8, because he absolutely can. So I think that's the way around it probably would be. But it's
yeah.
interesting for me, because I'd love to see it, bro. But we'll have to see. I think you're right. These 2 need to start together more.
Yeah, man. Yeah, big up to everyone in the chat. There's 2,000 of you in it. Apologies, my internet is playing up again, so I look like I'm on a mashed potato. But yeah,
It's all good, man.
people. But do you know what? Sometimes people don't like when you're critical of the manager or the club or a certain situation. But I absolutely think that the criticism Arteta got after Manchester City has had an effect on him, and it's slightly changed the way that he's approached games, because that Newcastle game, we were on the front foot. We had 20 shots at Newcastle. We had 16 shots against Olympiacos the other day. And it's no coincidence that Odegaard, who we can never understand why he's always stuck in this right-hand side, that little sort of 15 yards of space, against Olympiacos, the man's on the left, playing through balls to Gyokeres down that left channel. You're a better player. You're meant to be a creative player. You're not meant to be stuck. Mesut Ozil wasn't stuck in the same 20 yards of space the whole time. He'd pop up on the left, the right, in the middle, would go beyond the striker. Odegaard needs freedom to operate and link up with Martinelli, link up with Eze, link up with Gyokeres. It's almost like 90% of his passes go to Saka. He doesn't even play anywhere else on the pitch. So I think we've got to give this attack more freedom to go and explore, to go. And even the game with Eze against Bilbao, it was a disciplined left wing touchline hugging performance. That's not what we want from Eze. That's not the reason we signed him. We want him drifting off that left-hand side, getting between the lines, causing problems. So I really want to see these 2 on the pitch together tomorrow and see if they can link up, because West Ham are going to sit in and try and hit us on the break.
Yeah.
So I'm so intrigued to see how he sets us up tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm massively interested in the 11, because I can never pick one, bruv. I've never got one right. The only one I got right was Athletic Bilbao, because I just knew that Mourinho was going to play in that game. Other than that, I've got pretty much everyone wrong, and it's gone as far as Mourinho in midfield to Trossard on the left. Defensively, when he picked Mosquera ahead of Saliba, there was always one or 2 in there that you're like, what the hell is going on here? Where are we getting this from? So you're right. He has to get this 11 right. I do believe that these 2 should start. If I've got my kind of Arteta cap on, I think he's going to go with Rice, Supermendy and Odegaard. I think he might put Eze on the left and have Saka right and Gyokeres, but I don't know that, because he seems to like Trossard at the moment, who I don't think is a starter. I think he's a very good squad player to come on from the bench. But he needs to get the 11 right, because you're right in what you said about Nuno. We know how they're going to set up. He's going to do what he did against Forest. He's going to try and Nuno us, which is what he did at Anfield against Liverpool last year and got 3 points with Forest with. He's going to try and do a Nuno. And we've got to watch Bowen. And we also have to watch their left back, because he looks a beast, mate. At the youth, he looks very good, mate. Very, very good. And Somerville's back as well. That left-hand side for West Ham is actually probably where we need to look at more, because Somerville and Juve is probably just as dangerous as what Bowen can be alone on the right. So I do think that we have to be realistic about them as a threat, because this isn't Graham Potter or Lopetegui's West Ham. This is Nuno, who should be respected. He did brilliant with Forest. And I know he fell off at the end, but let's be real. Putting Forest into 7th, no one had that. Nobody had that.
No.
So I think that what he could do with West Ham could be the perfect sort of manager. Now, they've got a lot of unsettlement at the moment away from their 11 with the ownership and the protests they're doing. And I'm hoping that can take some, pressure away from the fact that they're more interested in getting their owners out than they are winning this game. However, Nuno will obviously want to win, right? So I do think that there's a great opportunity here for 3 points. But I do think West Ham will be very different than the West Ham we've seen over the last few weeks, without that.
Yeah, totally agree, man. But that Graham Potter's West Ham was kind of wide open, but this one I think will be much more difficult to break down. Wyma says, big up Big C in the community. What do you think Prime Wenger would be capable of doing with this squad? I think he'd potentially win the league with his attacking football, to be honest. I think the way we used to bop with average players, I think we'd be right up there. Unreasonable said, not just the squad, we also got Turkish and Curtis. I'm not sure what he's referring to, but big up Unreasonable. Why was me? Timber should be captain. I think he's a little bit too quiet. I see him on tour. He's very, very quiet, man. He's a bit of an introvert. He'd be Gabriel or Rice for me. Michael said they both have a red card in them at the moment in terms of Calafiori and Skelly. I think he's on about. Forever Gunner, as an Arsenal fan, it's so exciting waiting for the lineup before the game, seeing who is playing, who is not. The depth is insane. The downside is it can backfire as like the Liverpool one, yeah? An MP said Arteta will not drop Marino or Zuba-Mendy. They are favoured, being from the same region. I mean, listen, Marino, he can't be playing tomorrow. That's one thing for sure, man. He definitely can't be playing. Just quickly, I mean, I wanted to ask you about the striker. I'm gonna have a look at the league table as well because there's big implications this weekend. I wanted to ask you about Victor Gyokeres. We spoke about it on your channel. We spoke about it on AFTV the other day as well. Man said P Diddy's getting sentenced today. Jesus,
wow.
It's a talking point at the moment, Gyokeres. The ops are coming for him. 5 games without a goal. I actually think he's starting to play better for us at the moment, but the haven't turned up. But if you add the goals to that performance, he's where we need to be. But are you concerned that we might assign the wrong player, or is it just a case of giving him time, let the goals flow, and things will happen? What's your thoughts on Gyokeres?
Yeah, I don't think we've signed the wrong player. And even if he flops, I don't think that we have either. And I know that sounds crazy, but you can't look at a goal machine that gets 100 goals in 2 games and go, well, we'll get him. I think he's probably going to be a flop, but we'll get him. It was absolutely the right striker, which is why I give Berta credit. I know we wanted Sesko. He's not exactly putting up trees for United, is he? So no. I don't think there's any striker at the moment in the Premier League that I'm looking at in comparison to Gyokeres and going, what? Other than Haaland. So we all know that Haaland is the guy. Haaland actually, in my opinion, is playing the best football of his life right now. I think he's actually looking better than he was in the treble season. That's how scary he's being, right?
Yeah.
When I look at the record the other day, Haaland scored in the Champions League. He's got 50 goals and he's the quickest. He's the quickest striker to get to 50 goals in the Champions League, right? And he's actually got a record of a ratio of over 1 goal a game in every Champions League game so far. If you actually look at it, that is ridiculous, mate. Like, scary. But as for Gyokeres, he scored some goals. He's missed some chances, but he hasn't missed any absolute sitters, Curtis. It hasn't been like, how's he missed that, you clown? How's he put it over from a yard? How's he missed it? Has he gone wide? He's scuffed his lines. I haven't done that yet. He's had a couple of half chances where he's had a shot and it's gone wide or over the bar, but it wasn't clear cut. Like, oh my God, there's everything that hits this guy just misses. A bit like Darwin Nunez, yeah? Somebody like Nicholas Jackson, those type. He's not like that. So for me, when you look at him having 5-6 games in the Arsenal shirt so far in the league and then a couple in the Champions League, he's got 3 or 4 goals already. I don't think he's been unbelievable, but at the same time, I don't think he's been as bad as what some people are saying. I think there's been a lot of hold-up play that I've liked. There's been a lot of bully boy tactics I like. There's been a lot of attributes he's got that are showing some physical presence that means he's suited to this league. I think the only thing he hasn't quite adjusted to yet is the timing of how much time he's got on the ball, because there's been a couple of times where I'm thinking you're taking too long to hit that, bruv. Like, you want to
Yeah.
shoot. I can see you eyeing up the shot, but you're trying to time the shot too long and you're not hitting it in time. So the defenders are getting back. That was even evident against Port Vale, which I know is a different level of football, but he went through 1-on-1 and I thought should have done better, but he was taking too long. And then I felt the other night he did that a couple of times. Having said that, the goal he scored against Olympiacos was all him. The ball was brilliant from Odegaard, but the bully boy tactics was him. And I'm a fan. I like him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to hit Haaland numbers. I never did. But I think he'll get some goals for Arsenal, Curtis. But I will say, for those that are saying I'm not sure yet, you're not deluded to think that. It's
No, you're
okay
not.
to say that. I haven't seen a huge upgrade on Kai Havertz, and I'm not a huge fan of Kai Havertz, but I don't look at Kai Havertz and him and I go, oh my God, one's like looking completely. I think both will score goals. I just prefer Gyokeres in terms of his all-round game, and I think he's a better finisher. So that's why I'd go with him.
Yeah, I'm. Listen, I was very much in favour of that signing. So, and maybe people think I'm a bit biased. Yeah, me and you spoke about it for months, but I see a lot of positives in his performances. I really do, and I played up front myself, so the runs he's making. I think what Arsenal have to be careful with him is because he's a big guy. We don't want to use him as a target man. Yeah, we're going to need him to hold the ball up, but when you look at his Sporting Lisbon goals, a lot of them were getting him running towards the goal, crossed it. You know what I mean? We want him facing the goal. You saw in that Martinelli goal the other day, the beast mode was there, the pace. I saw people saying, "Oh, he's not that quick." Well, he does have pace when he gets going, and he's a powerhouse as well. So it's just a case of those chances going in, and we need to give him the ball more. I still don't think our wingers in particular look for him often enough. Most of the time, when they cut in, they either shoot or kind of float a high cross in, and that's not really what suits him. So I think Gyokeres will come good for us, man. I'm not. I think he needs Eze and Odegaard in the team as well, which I think will help him even more. Which I think is why when he got that goal against Leeds, when Eze crossed it, or was it Forest? Was it the Forest goal? Sorry, he went straight over to Eze, didn't he? Like, that's what I need from you, bro. That's the service, So they just, I think they're adapting to each other, and he looks fitter now and a little bit trimmer. So he needs a goal tomorrow. He could do with a goal tomorrow.
Yeah,
just that would be 4 in 7 in the league. That's better in 1 and 2. So I think he's he definitely could do with a goal tomorrow. Somebody else that we've spoken about a lot as well, and I saw an article come out today about him, was Ethan Nwaneri, and we're both big fans of him. I think he's a fantastic player. I remember last season saying I think he could be the most exciting player at Arsenal to watch in terms of when he gets the ball, you think something's going to happen. He's obviously in a tricky situation at the moment, where, and I was saying this to Turkish yesterday, that I think when he signed that deal, they were saying to him, "You're going to challenge Odegaard for that attacking midfield spot." I think the problem that's happened for him is that he signs the contract, Havertz gets injured, Arsenal sign Eze. I don't think Eze comes to Arsenal without that Havertz injury. So all of a sudden, Eze comes in, and you've got Odegaard and Eze in front of you now. And on the right, you've got Saka and Noni Madueke. And even the other day, he played Martinelli on the right. So all of a sudden, we're in a situation where you're like, how is Ethan going to get regular game time? I mean, I suppose we've got to look at it in two ways. Number one, not every good young player makes it at your football club. Sometimes they end up getting sold, as you've seen with Cole Palmer at Manchester City. And second of all, if the team's winning, we can't really complain that much because they're doing their job. But what do you make of what's happening with Ethan? How can we get him in the team, or does he just have to be patient and sort of wait his turn?
Well, look, there's an element of patience because you're at Arsenal. We can say that about any player because the squad's strong now, right? However, you've got to be looking at minutes of Ethan this season and saying that he deserves more than he's getting, because the performances I've seen from against Leeds and Forest deserved a shout against Bilbao, and I didn't see it. Then I saw a bit of a different team the other night against Olympiacos, and I still didn't see Ethan getting minutes. It would worry me if we see him as just literally a Carling Cup player or a Carabao Cup player. I always called it Carling Cup. And I do think, show my age now.
Coca-Cola Cup, mate. I still call it that. Remember that?
There's been so many. Worthington Cup. There's been loads in there.
Yeah.
I will say with Ethan, this is a huge few months for him between now and January, because I don't want him to go out on loan. He's one of my favourite players, Ethan. I love watching him, right? But he's got to play first-team football at this age. When you score 10 goals for Arsenal at 17, you deserve to be given some respect. And I'm not saying that Arteta's been disrespectful. I think Arteta has probably preferred others over Ethan at times, and I'm not quite sure why. For example, last season we saw Trossard getting into the 10 ahead of him when Odegaard was injured. Thought that was weird. I've seen Marino playing the 10 ahead of him. Thought that was weird. If he's looking at that, thinking, well, I've got Max Dowman getting on the right-hand side, so that's me done over there. That's on top of the fact that Saka and Noni are there. And then you go into the middle and I look at Odegaard, Marino, and Eza. Where am I going to play? And I genuinely said, Curtis, when there was all these rumours about his contract renewal, I told people that they were out of order for saying, he's 18, know your place, mate, and all this crap, because he might have been 17, 18, but he has a right to ask those questions. Like, okay, I want to stay here, but you do have to tell me my route, because I can't see one at the moment. I don't think there's anything wrong in the player saying that. I think that the answer should be from the manager to convince him that there is a place here and that he can stay. I don't think it's Ethan's fault that he's asking those questions. And I saw some crazy outrage. Like, who does he think he is? Like, know your place, bruv. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Like, this kid's entitled, and his family and his agents are entitled to say, yep, we're happy to stay. This is how much we want. But what game time are we getting? Where's my career route? What do you see my progression? How do you see me fitting into this 11 or this squad? What games am I going to play? I don't think that's a bad thing. And you have to say now, the people that were saying, oh, they're out of order, he's out of order, he needs to realise he's 17, 18, now look rather silly, in my opinion, because he isn't playing as much as he'd like. He's not playing as much as the fans would like, and some of the fans that do like him. And I don't think Marino and Trossard should be preferred ahead of Ethan Nwaneri. Not when we're needing to win games and going more attacking for it. So he's also got on top of that, Max Dowman kept coming on ahead of him as well, which was very surprising for me. I didn't expect that. So I think Ethan Nwaneri will get a chance, and I think that he will definitely stay at Arsenal. But I've gone from don't loan him, play him, to, well, if you're not going to play him, you might be better loaning him, because at least like what Jack Wilshere did at Bolton was really, really good for his progression. Maybe he needs to go to a Leeds and play every game. And it might not be that he goes and wins something there, but he'll definitely go and play every single game and go and turn that team into a creative spark and get a few goals and learn his trade in a tougher sort of against tougher opposition, etc. So that's where I'm at with Ethan, bruv. I'm a little bit disappointed we haven't seen as much of him, because I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Listen, I understand when you've got Eze and Odegaard, it's hard for him to start. Odegaard is the captain, Eze is a star signing. But I think what the disappointment has been bringing him on. I don't see any reason he can't get 20 minutes at the end of a game. Or the other night, I thought he could have started on the right. I know Martinelli scored, but he didn't play particularly well. But listen, I suppose I don't think he'll loan him out this season. It's just a case of whether he gets enough game time, which hopefully he will. Just looking back on this, Dan, it's a massive weekend, international break afterwards. We could be top of the league by the end of this weekend if Chelsea can pull out some sort of performance, which they've been pretty poor the last couple of weeks without Cole Palmer. We play at 3:00, so if we win the game, we'll be top as Liverpool kick off against Chelsea at 5:30. I mean, it would be a massive psychological advantage if we could go into that break top. And you've seen one or two sort of issues with Liverpool this week. Slot's called out Frimpong in the Palace game, said some things about Chiesa, why he left him out of the squad, and things to do with his training level. And now, Ekitike got sent off for the second yellow. Is it Florian Wirtz? I think that's 8 games now. He's 008 now, James Bond setting. So this is a big weekend for us moving forward, isn't it?
Huge, bruv. Huge. It's Liverpool's turn now. And what I mean by that is it's Liverpool's turn to try and look at how they deal with injuries. It's Liverpool's turn to see how they can deal with their squad going into some difficult games. Not that they were easy, what they've just had, but they have got now in the next 6, Chelsea, Man City and Man United. Now, we can all laugh at Man United and it is bloody funny. However, when you look at Liverpool going up against Man United, it is a totally different game to when we play them, because it is the huge, huge game which has got so much more on it than the problems on the pitch so far. And we saw that last year. Liverpool won the league, but still struggled against United for whatever reason. You know, they just do that sometimes in derby games. Likewise, they do tend to struggle at Stamford Bridge. I don't think they've won there for a while now. So this is a good time to be interested. What we have to do before I come on to Liverpool quick is we have to be aware of our next 3 Premier League games as well. Because people might go, oh, that's it right now, the easy 3, West Ham, Fulham and Palace. Well, last year we lost to West Ham 1-0 at the ground. We went to Fulham last year away and we drew 1-1. And we couldn't beat Palace at home at the Emirates. It was 2-2. So that means we take 2 points out of the next 3 games. If we do that, we need to turn that into 9 points. Yeah. So it's fine, Liverpool dropping points. And I keep saying this, Liverpool are going to do this, Liverpool are going to do that. What are Arsenal going to do? Because give me the 9 points. I couldn't give a damn what Liverpool do. It'd be lovely if they drop points, but give me 9 points. Don't give me this, oh, Liverpool have dropped in the next 2. How did Arsenal do? Oh, we lost. Oh, it doesn't matter because Liverpool lost. No, it does. We've got to win our games. So that's where I'm at with that. As for Liverpool, quickly, I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit shocked by this, of how unsettled they've looked in the last couple. And to be honest, since the start, because I thought they had a really good 11 and I thought they added unbelievable quality to it in the summer. Everyone was saying their window was a 9 or a 10. They've got 2 quality goalkeepers. They brought in 2 exciting fullbacks that are similar in mould to Trent and Robertson in terms of bombing forward. They've brought in one of the most sought-after attacking midfielders in the world in Florian Wirtz. And they've brought in probably one of the best strikers in Europe alongside Haaland and Mbappe, etc., in Alexander Isak. You wouldn't know it looking at Liverpool. You just wouldn't.
No.
They've needed a little bit of luck. They've needed everything to go their way. They've needed last-minute winners. And it ain't quite working for them at the moment. And I don't know if it's too many cooks spoiled a broth. Or they just haven't really settled yet. I think Slot is doing a bit of a madness as far as the fans are concerned, trying to get his team, his new team, moulding together. And everybody said this was a huge season for Arne Slot because there's pressure with how much they've spent, but there's also the pressure of you're not just picking up Klopp's side anymore. You're putting your side together now. I haven't been impressed with Frimpong defensively. I definitely haven't been impressed with Gyokeres going forward or defensively. I haven't been impressed with Florian Wirtz. I think he's been quiet, and that's been kind. And Alexander Isak has been pretty much injured and not match fit yet. So I don't think we can be too critical or harsh because they are top of the league. But at the same time, the big hitters aren't hitting. Salah, he's nowhere to be seen. There's only really Alisson and Van Dijk that have been of that kind of world-class mould that have decided to turn up. Konate's been an absolute mess. Gyokeres and Frimpong I've mentioned. McAllister is one of my favourite Liverpool players, and he's stunk out the gaff of late. So you can only really add Ekatike and Gravenberch that have done all right. Everyone else has been underperforming, to say the least. So I don't feel like Liverpool are quite settled yet. And at this time, they might go on to win the league still. But whilst they're settling and gelling, Arsenal need to capitalise on that, bruv. So for me, I think that we should be going into, the Chelsea-Liverpool game at 5:30, top of the league. That's what we should be doing. And that's why it will be all pressure on Liverpool to get 3 points at Stamford Bridge.
I mean, Ornstein's tweeted this morning that Alisson's out for 6 weeks. He won't be back till after the November international break. So he's not back till late November now. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on their new goalkeeper. And as you said, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, big games for them. Just quickly on Liverpool, I just think, to me, Frimpong's not as good as Trent. Trent creatively in the Premier League, he's the most creative player in that Liverpool team for me, along with Salah. And Wirtz has come in and struggled. Wirtz is similar to Gyokeres in that he's playing a second too slow, in my opinion. A lot of his shots get blocked. The pass is a little bit too slow. Good friend of mine, he moved from the Championship to the Prem. I said, what's the biggest difference? He said, it's 1 second quicker. And 1 second doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the difference between your shot getting blocked or going in the top corner. And I think, like you said, Gyokeres doesn't look great. And Ekitike's look good. Isak obviously is not fit. So we want them to have all the question marks on them going into the break. Konate hasn't signed his new deal. He's looked dodgy as well. I honestly think, bro, this has got to be the season we win the league, because
Thanks.
I don't think it will look like this next season. However it looks now, I don't think it will look like that next season. So Fulham and Crystal Palace are actually the games where they're almost, to me, as big as Arsenal playing Man City, because they're the games that have cost us the league in the last 2 years. You know, going to Fulham and getting beaten, Jimenez scoring, and Crystal Palace taking points off us. They're the games where you've got to go and beat them. You win enough of them games, we know we've got a good record against the big six clubs. So yeah, it's a big weekend. I think most Arsenal fans will look at West Ham at home and think it's a win, we'll batter them. I actually think with Nuno in charge, that is a much more difficult game than if Graham Potter was manager, I'd be saying 3 or 4-0. But with Nuno in charge, they played well against Everton on Monday already. Probably should have beat them. You'll go into the game. I'll be doing a watch along for it. What's your score prediction for Arsenal against West Ham?
I'm going to predict a clean sheet, Curtis, because I saw a stat that we've conceded 3 and only one of them has come from open play, which was a Haaland goal. The other 2 have come from a free kick from Szoboszlai and a header from Voltemeda. So I'm going to go for a clean sheet. I'm going to go for 2-0. I don't think it's going to be a whooping, but I do think it will be comfortable. I'm quietly confident. And I'm going to go for 3 points. And I think, just lastly, on your points about having to win the league, I think the manager is under severe pressure to win a trophy. And I just don't know how much easier it can get with everybody looking a little bit not so good at the moment, I suppose I'll say. No one looks bad at the moment, but no one looks amazing right now. And I think by capitalizing on that, I just think we have to, mate. And if we don't, I'm looking at one man. I'm not looking at the squad. I'm not looking at what's happened this summer. I'm not looking at blaming anybody but one man. So he's got serious pressure to get us across the line this year, in my opinion. And if it isn't the league, he's got to win one of the others, because I don't know how he can stay in the job personally. So look, but I'll end on a positive. I think we'll win this game 2-0. And I think it will be a comfortable victory. And I'll be all eyes on Stamford Bridge after that, bruv.
Yeah. Forever gonna, Curtis, sometimes talk about other teams. Well, there you go. You got a little 5 minutes of Liverpool conversation there. Farhan said, I wanted Martinelli to go. Now I want him to stay. Yeah, maybe. Impact player for me, and then get a big upgrade on the left.
Player.
Yeah. Thoughts on game time for the World Cup year for Skelly, etc.? I mean, we spoke about that. I mean, Arteta's not going to be worried about the World Cup. He's got to do what's best for Arsenal. If he thinks Skelly isn't the starter, then that's so be it. El Paso, we need to stop this Ethan nonsense. He doesn't create enough. He's a good player. He's very selfish with the ball. I just think he's a different player. He's not necessarily a creative 10. He's more a guy that drives. He commits people. He opens the game up. So I don't think he's a selfish player. I think it's more a style of play is different to Odegaard. So I think he's a quality player. I know you rate him as well.
I think it's a bit harsh to look at an 18-year-old and look at what he's bad at, because he's going to be more bad than good at that age. But I've been looking at him thinking, I'm excited. I know people say he doesn't do enough off the ball defensively, but I would argue he's improved on that from what I've seen against Leeds and Forest. So he deserves more time, man.
Michael said, is Isak a bit overhyped? I think the price was higher than he should have been, but it's the modern game, and I suppose it's whether people always have to understand that, like Newcastle, Liverpool, that expectation and pressure is different. It's whether he can deal with it, but I think he will once he gets fit. But Ekitike is a good player, man. I've watched him at the start of the season, and I'm like, bro, you look too good to get benched. Like, I think that's why he held his shirt up. I think he was sort of saying, don't forget about me. But what do you think about Isak? Is he as good as...
I think he's quality. However, I don't think he's worth that much money. But I appreciate and understand why they had to pay that much to get him out. Otherwise, he would have stayed at Newcastle, right? But I do think he'll score goals. I think he's too good not to. But I agree with you. Ekitike has probably impressed me out of all the new signings the most, because I knew about some of the others. I had a little bit of glimpse of Gyokeres and Zubimendi and João Pedro, we all knew, and this. But Ekitike, I was a bit like, okay, let's see what he's like. Didn't score that many in the Bundesliga, but we'll see what he's like. And I've got to be honest with you, bro. I've been very, very impressed. And I think he looks very similar aesthetically and attributes-wise to Alexander Isak, actually, in terms of how he plays. So I
That's
think he's
why
only going to get
Newcastle
better.
wanted him.
Yeah, I think he's only going to get better. So, yeah.
Yeah. And forever gonna Curtis, did you see Arsenal has a higher chance of winning the Champions League than any other team? Yeah, them little stats and things predict that. I don't care about any of that. How can we have a better chance of winning the Champions League than PSG or Real Madrid or whatever?
Arsenal
It's crazy.
or
But yeah, listen, I'll agree with you. I'll go for 2-0 tomorrow as well, which I'd take. But it'd be nice if we could smash somebody, go and beat them 5-0 or like we did Leeds and just send out that statement to the league that, we're serious. Pick the right team, lots of creativity, couple of Gyokeres goals would be great. And it would add to the pressure for Liverpool going into that Chelsea game. So let's hope things work out tomorrow. I just saw this quote from Arteta, even on his goal for the next 300 games, even with the highest win rate, we haven't won major trophies. That tells you the level. This level is not enough. And that's where I'm at. That's the only place me and you have differed slightly. You've said you need another trophy. I've said I feel like it's got to be one of the big two. Now, don't get me wrong. If he won the Carabao and the FA Cup double, and okay, but Ten Hag got sacked not long after an FA Cup. Ange got sacked after a Europa League. I think after 6 years, if he pulled in a Carabao Cup, it's like, is that really going to satisfy what we're looking for? They told us trust the process. The process really was to be in the promised land and win the title. But listen, let's hope he is winning the title at the end of the season anyway. And we can all celebrate. But Dan, big up to you for coming on. Apologies, my internet was playing up. It seemed to have cleared up halfway through, but yeah, it looked like I was on a mashed potato for half of it. You got any shows coming up today you want to put out?
So nothing for me today other than I've dropped a preview of Lawless that's coming out later. Me and Saeed were chatting about our sacking of Amorim potentially and the hiring of Southgate. So go check that one out. He was not happy about that. So that's now on 12th man. So go check that one out. That's just dropped. And I'll be match reaction fan cams tomorrow after the game, bruv.
I tell you what, man, I would love Southgate at Man United. Just the thing is, Amorim's so bad. I don't think Southgate would be worse than him, to be honest. That guy is an absolute
I actually
clown.
think Southgate would be an improvement. Not that anyone should want him, but he would do better with his side. He would.
He would. Big up to you, Dan. Big up to everyone locked in. Hit the like button and subscribe. Make sure you follow Football's 12th Man as well. And I'll see you all for the watch along tomorrow, people. Bless.